This thing is a lifesaver, dude. It's like I don't know what language it is, but it's like an herbal, like inhaler.
Huh.
So anytime,
All right. Discord, Discord, and more Discord. Just give it a few more seconds. Hopefully, we're live now. I think we're live. I'm feeling live, which is good. Cool. Shall we get into it? So, welcome, 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 everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Brian, and thank you so much for attending our first ever Discord live event. We're really excited about this because this gives everyone that joins the opportunity to talk to us in real time. You can reach out about any of our products, ask about tips and tricks, request tutorials, and even if you have issues like bugs, you can now directly reach out right to us. Let us know, and we can take those things directly back to our teams to log and work on them. So, to celebrate the first ever Discord live event and just having a Discord general, we are going to have a really fun contest here. It's everyone's opportunity to create music with some really special beats. So, I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to introduce the super producer, DJ, and just awesome dude in general, OddKidOut. Mr. OddKidOut, please go ahead and talk about yourself. What are you doing today? What are you cooking up lately?
Yeah, what's going on, everyone? I go by the name OddKidOut. My real name is Butch, so if you want to type Butch, that's cool too. Uh, yeah, I'm a producer, DJ. I travel around the world playing music that I make in my bedroom, in my boxers. And I get to work with a lot of artists that I love, and I'm excited to be here today. This is really exciting. AutoTune is a plugin that I use a lot, and it's an honor to be working alongside the team on this one. So I'm really excited about it.
Awesome, 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 and amazing. Thank you so much for helping and hosting our first ever open verse Discord live event. This is history we're making right here. So let's talk about prizes. Let's talk about the juice, and the prizes are pretty juicy. So as I look at my list here, so first place winner will win a brand new, and if you haven't seen it yet, all over the internet, the Headrush AutoTune VX5 pedal. They will also get 1 year of our ATU subscription, which is our AutoTune Unlimited subscription. It's awesome. It's powerful. It features 23 amazing plugins, includes all versions of AutoTune, our whole AI vocal chain, plus a whole bunch of creative effects where anyone can create studio quality vocals quickly and easily. And last off, $100 merch store credit, and you'll get a big push on socials where you'll be collabed on all this stuff with us at AutoTune and OddKidOut. Second place, you'll get a year-long AutoTune Unlimited subscription and $100 merch store credit. And then third place, get 6 months of our AutoTune Unlimited subscription plus a $50 merch store credit. So all these people can still go to our merch store, spend some money, get cool stuff like this, look really cool, and rep AutoTune. So I'll cut out. When it comes to these submissions, what kind of music are you looking for?
Yeah, I wouldn't even say I'm looking for a specific genre. I think what I'm looking for is authenticity and uniqueness. And I don't know, music is art is one of those things there is no right or wrong. There's no, direct path to perfection. It's just making stuff that you like. And I think when you make music that's true to you, it resonates out and other people can feel that. So I think it's that energy that I'm looking for more so. This sounds like you. That's what's going to excite me the most.
Yeah, I love that. I totally agree. Music is expression. We all do it differently. So I'm really excited to see what comes out of this. So we got to talk about rules, and there's got to be rules somewhere. They're really easy to follow. You have a 2 week submission window to submit everything. It starts today, August 20th. Voting will be from the 21st to September 2nd. And the requirements are all entrants must use at least two AutoTune products in your submission, but we definitely encourage you to use more than two. And don't worry, if you aren't a subscriber yet, you can access all of our plugins with a free 14-day trial that's available right on our website, where you can use all of them if you wanted to. That would be super impressive. The final announcement for the winner will be another live stream event with Mr. OddKid out here, and that will be September 3rd. So please come back for that, especially if you submitted music. You will want to be here that day because you could be winning some awesome shit right here. So I know I talk really fast and have way more energy than all of you. So all the rules and everything I covered will be posted in this Discord. So make sure to come back. Make sure you're doing it all right. So we're going to get into it now. Get ready. So I'll cut out. Anything you want to add here?
I think you did a pretty good job summing it all up. I'm ready to I'm ready to make some beats, but while I'm doing this, I can see the chat. So if you have any questions while I'm producing, if you want to pick my brain about anything, feel free to intrude on any of my processes. Like just type a question, I'll stop what I'm doing, I'll redo something, whatever you guys want to do. I want this to feel like we're hanging out and not like you're stuck in school watching, an educational lesson. I want it to be like a session we're all kind of in it together. So hopefully you
Hey,
guys like
nothing
the
wrong with
beat.
school. There's nothing wrong with school here, everyone. It's school. School is cool.
School is cool. School is cool. But yeah, hopefully you guys like the beat because you guys have to use it. So
Cool, cool, cool. So, you want to get into it? Shall we get into
yeah,
this? All
yeah,
right.
I'm ready to go. Yeah, I'll share my screen and we'll get going.
Yeah, yeah. Time for the fun stuff.
All right. So let me make sure this is here. Cool. So I pulled a little sample recently that I thought would work really well for something like this. So I brought it over here in my session, and I'm using Ableton, by the way. Any Ableton users, rejoice. So I grabbed this lead, and I really like it. So my idea for this is maybe some like trap, hip hop, and then maybe some like Latin influence. So I'm just gonna kind of, I haven't really prepared this on purpose because I wanted this to be like an in the moment thing. So I think I'm just gonna go for it and see how it goes. So the first thing I'm gonna do is the first thing I always do is I grab an 808 to go with the melody. So one plugin I like to use is this 808 Cooker plugin. And the first thing is kind of pick a random preset. So let's try this one. And the key to 808s, at least for me, is always do it an octave up. So you make sure you're doing the right note because when it's on that lower octave, it might be hard to hear. So it's kind of going through sounds here. I want something that punches a little bit more. That's too distorted. I quite like that. So let's give it a shot with this. Make sure it sounds good. Okay, yeah, so I'm just gonna lay that down. I'm gonna try and be speedy here for the interest of everyone's time. And then that last note, I want to change this to doom, 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 doom. Yeah, that's right. So let's quantize that. Okay, cool. And then let's just get like a basic clap kick. Let's just build our like drums, our basic drums, right? So let's just get a clap because everyone loves a clap. And then let's layer that clap maybe with maybe a snare. So maybe this. And we'll probably end up turning this snare down just because it's going to be a little loud. Yeah, I like that. All right. Let's pan these a little bit. And then I want to do some ghosts, like some like perks. So let's grab a different clap. And I'm hearing like a grrrah in my head, which will sound better when I do it. But let's grab this. At the end of the phrases, I hear like a grrrah. So and this is gonna sound really bad until I finish it, but just so bear with me here. But I think it's gonna be like, no, it's gonna be like this, maybe. No, trial and error here. Let's do this. Yeah, and then so the key to making these sound good, that just sounds so like robotic and like. So what we're gonna do is actually combine this into one audio file and then fade it so it kind of fades into the clap. right? So now it doesn't sound as like harsh. And then let's just slap a little uh, sauce on it, which is just reverb and delay. Actually, too much delay. And let's take a little bit of the highs out of it just because it's a little much. Okay. And then one more ghost snare. So maybe like yeah, that could probably work. Let's try this out. So with this is just drum bounce is like it can't be taught. It's like it's just felt. Uh Not that I'm the master of drum bounce, but being able to tell you where to place these things is impossible. It's just felt. So like you just kind of feel it, right? And you just place it. I don't know if anyone here watches Bob Ross, but he's like this old school painter back in the day, and he was always just like, you know, your easel is and your canvas is just like the happy accidents, like just toss paint at the wall. And that's kind of how I see it. Like I'm like, okay, I kind of hear this in this area. Let's just toss it and then move it around and just see how it feels. Yeah, that's cool. So it's gonna sound disjointed because the hats aren't there yet, but and for the sake of variation, I'm actually gonna leave this out the first time. So now I'm thinking of my beat in phrasing here. So I've just gone from a 4-bar loop to an 8-bar loop by introducing new percussive elements, right? So an easy way to get out of your bar lock of being just in one place is to start to introduce small elements like this, which on paper look small, but from an auditorial, or that's not a word, from an audio standpoint, it really hits pretty hard. So now I have a bit of a loop. What I'm going to do now is very simple. I'm going to take this kick and I'm going to put it on every single 808. And then I'm just going to side chain my 808 to my kick just to kind of help with balance. And it'll help make that 808 punch a little bit. I often like to drag my kick up here. It makes it way easier to line it up like this. So just cool. There's that. And then I sidechain using glue compressor, which on paper is not really what you're supposed to do, but I like to. So grab my kick and do a little sidechain. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take the same sidechain to my lead. So the lead ducks. And the reason why I do this, I like my kicks to really hit. I find that from a live standpoint, that is the most impactful part of the beat is how hard that kick hits. So I messed up the first kick. Sorry. Okay, so that's cool. Still pretty empty, but we're going to now duplicate that. And I think I'm just going to bring this up an octave. And I want that sidechain to be a little more intense. And I actually want this lead to be a little more reverby because right now it's very dry. Keep in mind that your chain, the order of operation matters. So I don't even know if anyone wants to know this information, but if you don't know already, if you are sidechaining something, right, that you have this sidechain happening and then you put a reverb on it, your sidechain is going to go away because now you're reverbing on top of that sidechain. But if your reverb occurs before, now it's going to stay sidechained properly. So that's why I switched that there. Okay, cool. So kind of starting to get some bounce now. So let's do some hi-hats. Um,
Hey, Butch,
I
while you get some
really,
hats, I got a question for you actually.
yeah, what's up?
And maybe it's a lot of people here may know what this is, but I feel like even when I went to audio engineering school, it was one of the things it was hard for me to grasp because you brought up side chaining here, right?
Yeah.
Like, could you put in like the simplest terms in case no one here knows, like what is side chaining and
Yeah.
why
So
do you do it?
in the simplest form, you're telling one sound to duck its volume based on the input of another sound. And without audio terms, it's make one sound quieter and the other sounds stay the same. And what that does is in your mix, it allows, so for example, an 808 and a kick, they both live in a similar world as far as being on the lower end of the frequency spectrum. So sidechaining that 808 opens up space within those frequencies to let that kick come through. I like to use the lead sidechaining to the kick for like what I said, it just makes that kick stand out. So all you're doing really is just carving space out in your mix for a specific element to shine. And you can sidechain anything you want. My style, oftentimes than not, my kick coming out makes my brain happy. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So it allows that really thumpy stuff to really be able to cut through. So whether you have small speakers, MacBook speakers, or even like subs in your house, it makes sure everything's heard properly then, right?
pretty much. Yeah.
Cool,
It's one of
cool.
those things that it could be overlooked, but when you do it, it makes a big difference for sure.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I have like so many ideas in my head with this. Let's just try and stay on on course here. So I want to build this beat out, and then I want to build the B section of the beat out because I want there to be a switch. So I think what I really need to do right now is hi-hats. So if you haven't noticed already, I really like working in audio instead of MIDI, for a multitude of reasons. If you would like to know, I can elaborate for anybody, but the way that I build my hi-hat loops is start with simplicity, right? So I start with just having it on the one, two, three, and four, right? Which surprisingly, how simple that is, I actually love it. So, like I said before, thinking about like progressing the beat over time, I actually don't hate this as like a beginning moment when the song starts, right? Because the other thing that's in the back of my head the entire time I'm doing this is there enough space for the vocal to shine, right? I think one part of being a really good producer is knowing that you're only part of the equation, and most of the time the vocals are going to be the most important thing. Um, okay, so I see someone wants to know why I prefer audio. I prefer audio because at least within Ableton, your creative parameters expand by tenfold. So if you're using MIDI, um, here, so I'll do something. I'll show you here. So, for example, if I drag this hi-hat in and I double click it in Ableton, I now have so much ability to change the pitch and also the length of this one thing without affecting every single other one. So I have like complete fine-tuned control of every single note. Sometimes with MIDI, like if you're using a drum rack or something and you change a parameter, every note within that parameter gets affected. So I just like being able to have full control over every single thing in my file here. Obviously the gain is really nice, but like for example, if I want to quickly just reverse one sample and not all of them, I can quickly do that here. With sounds, for example, here, if you utilize instead of warping to complex, if you warp to beats, um, and you set this to something like 1/16th note and you pull the percentage down here, that's just like one tiny version or one tiny piece of like how much you can do with the audio warping, right? And then you have all these envelopes. So, if I wanted to automate volume or panning or anything within the clip, such as like transposition. So if I wanted to build a trance position up by 15 steps. Like, there's just all these little moments that you can create in. So for me, I'm an audio guy. And I also notice sometimes when you drag audio into drum racks, it actually turns it down by minus 12 dB and you sometimes lose power. So uh, yeah, that's why I work in audio. So hi-hats. Let's try and build a loop here. Okay, and here we'll start to introduce new moments in this hi-hat. Any tips on trusting the process? Things can sound bad before they start sounding good. Uh, I'm a pretty harsh person to ask about this because my rule of thumb is if within 5 minutes of working on an idea, if I'm bored, I will legitimately delete the entire project, which is so toxic. But not that I've been doing it forever, but I've been producing for a long time and I don't get married to anything. So I have to feel really excited in order to keep working on an idea. But every now and then, pushing through that wall does lead you to greatness. So I would say never give up on something that excites you, but also know when to cut your losses in order to stay productive. Because if you're always working on some little idea and it doesn't go anywhere, you're missing out on maybe creating something new. So it's up to your own discretion, but don't doubt yourself. As long as you're having fun and you're interested and excited about what you're hearing, you're winning. Okay, so I'm just gonna introduce some more variation here. Trying to do this as quickly as possible. Okay, so I'm gonna use a hi-hat loop as well to go over top of this, but I just want this one to be kind of simple. So now I'm going to use maybe something like this. I quite like this one. I think that works. And then to give some extra energy on the second part, I'm just going to do some like up hats. And then I'm hearing like a chicka chicka, like some sort of vinyl, which I think I have a good one here. I'm probably gonna have to warp it, but let's see. Yeah, so let's quickly warp this. And then I'm going to try and do B section just to get that second part of the beat flowing. And then we can kind of go from there and try and wrap it into a beat. So it'll be something. And we'll just put these kind of at the end of each phrase. And then we need some exhausts. So let's go to, I quite love this cashmere one. So this is kind of like the glue. So put this at every downbeat of new phrasing and then take the same one and reverse it so that it bleeds back in. And you'll hear it. And I wouldn't even be mad at doing some white noise here on the downbeats as well. Okay, so now this second part, I pulled this little drum loop that I thought would get my point across here. And I'll need a different bass for that. Oh, sorry. So I'm just going to use Serum for that. And I have two bass lines in my head that I want to do. Again, I'm just always thinking about trying to create new moments in the song. So what's the one? Big Sub, here it is. So I want to follow the original line, which is that. So okay, so let's lay that down, the original bass line. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. All right. And then the trick here, so let's say you're using a drum loop, but you still want a side chain and you don't have your kick to separate, right? So what you're going to want to do is go here, side chain to your loop. So drums loop, right? Now, if I just side chained to this loop, it would sidechain every single thing in it, right? Like it wouldn't really work with the kick. Or I'm sorry, it wouldn't really work because it wouldn't isolate the kick. So the way that you isolate the kick is by sidechaining with EQ. And they recently changed the EQ, so now I'm so confused as to how they do it. But you see this here? It's only picking up on a certain frequency, right? This frequency is hitting only the kicks. So if I did it the other way, it's picking way more up now, right? Versus this. So that's how you separate the kick out of a loop if you don't have it, if you still want to sidechain to the kick. So yeah, I'm sidechaining to the kick here. And we want to make sure this is all this. And then I need some like a shaker loop of some sort. Let's see. Yeah, maybe something like that. And now to keep cohesion between A and B, we want to always bring over samples that we're using from other places, right? So a good idea maybe would be to layer some of these claps and snares that we've already used. And even if they're quiet in the mix, it's going to make it feel like it's connected more. So we just need to line up where it lands. Perfect. And now since I'm working in audio, I can just go in and quickly bring these down in volume and not affect the other part of the beat, right? So now I can just do this and just duplicate. Easy. And then I think we should do this half of the time of the other one, maybe. So this, and now, sorry, I'm trying to do this as quick as possible. I just want to build the parts and then we can focus on arrangement. Um, so And I think what I'm actually going to do is I might actually pull this kick out of the sample and use my own kick. So I'm just going to EQ it out. And actually, I'm pulling too much, maybe. It's okay if some still lives in there. So I'm not going to put that other kick in. And I'm hoping this might beef it up a little bit. Already beefing it up way more. And this will keep cohesion even better when switching parts. So now we're going to sidechain the drum loop to the actual kick. That'll take out the kick that's already in there, any clashing that's happening. So let's just pull that out. And then we're going to replace the old sidechain on the bass with the new one going to the actual kick. And we're going to bring over our effects. That's fire. So I think for this second part, we need to like let go of the bass for a little bit and then introduce a new one. So I'm hearing like a again, do it up an octave. I kind of like it in that upper octave. All right, cool. So now we have like a lot of different parts to work with. So let's start to build the arrangement, which is going to be the most important thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and introduce some extra time at the front here. I think we keep it simple and just start with the lead and then use what we already have built, which is just going to be this here and bring this. So we need to split that in half. So too much hat in the beginning here, so. And let's see if we can get away with the shaker over here. Whoops. Sorry. So I gotta automate this 808 to stop here. So we can't just like go straight into this other groove, right? We need to do something different to introduce it. So maybe we definitely need a kick on that one. So let's put this back in. Maybe. Bear with me for a second here. This is definitely a cool moment. It just needs, like, if we just go from one to the other, it kind of it doesn't ruins the surprise, right? Like, okay, that's actually kind of fire. I think what I'll do instead actually is create a moment of silence before the downbeat. So if nothing sounds good breaking here, let's break here. So. I'm going to do it pretty early too. So everything basically from here out is dead to me. Let's try something like this. Again, trial and error. So let's see. And we're going to have to bring this here. Actually, no, let's keep the bass in. Okay, now I hate that. So let's try let's just break it here. Something small like this might actually help a lot. Just get those hi-hat elements out of there, just so it. And probably this last 808 and kick can go as well. And I think let's keep this here. Okay, so in the interest of time, I feel like that's a pretty good outline for the beat. I think what I would end up probably doing is just duplicating this whole thing here and just making that transition feel a little bit better. So what I do is just take this whole thing here. And do one more kick and then 808. And then probably call it quits on this one. I'll probably do a little bit more tightening up on it on my own once we get off the stream, but I think this is pretty good for what we got going on. So yeah, I think maybe we'll cut it there, and I will polish this up, but it's pretty close. I mean, if there's any other questions, anything else you guys have about the beat or production in general, whatever it is, send some stuff in the chat. And Brian, if you have anything you want to ask, feel free.
Absolutely. No, I have absolutely loved watching you do this. I've learned some things. I think I need to switch over to Ableton. Maybe I'm just too old and old school using Pro Tools here. I'm seeing you do things that I'm like, wow, like my comment with the side chain, that takes me, a minute or two to set up in Pro Tools. Looks like it's pretty fast in here. I don't know. Question for you. I don't know how many DAWs you have used throughout your lifetime. Why did you end up here in Ableton?
Uh, well, so I used Logic my whole life. And then when I was in college, I took a course and my teacher made me use Ableton for the course. It was essentially an Ableton learning course. And look, I'm not one to say which DAW is better. They all do the same thing at the end of the day. But man, Ableton is really creative. And I would highly recommend anybody add it to their arsenal, no matter what they use. You're kind of living life on hard with Pro Tools and producing.
Maybe I just love this hooking way too many microphones up to an interface, and that's why Pro Tools is good for me.
It is great for that. It is great
Yeah,
for that.
absolutely. So yeah, if we want to take a quick peek at the chat here just to see if we've missed anything. Um, and
Oh,
then
sorry, go ahead.
oh yeah, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, I see a few here. What do you think you'll add while you're polishing? Just some mix stuff, maybe just some bounce stuff, just like little tiny pieces that make it feel a little more fluid. Like we spent 45 minutes working on a beat. It's unrealistic to get something perfect in that time period, but to at least get the structure down is what I wanted, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out as far as just like vibe. So, um, what kind of vocal am I thinking would rip on this? To be honest with you, I could see a million different things. I think like the floor is really open. I'm curious to see what people come up with, to be honest with you. It's not like I didn't want to do something too obvious, but I also didn't want to do something too experimental. So I felt like this was good middle ground for like might make you scratch your head a little bit, but won't be like pulling teeth, you know. Favorite ear candy to use? Uh Man, I could talk about this for hours, but one of my techniques that I use, I didn't create it, but it's essentially just a reverb throw. So if you have like here, sorry, I know we have like 10 minutes left, so try and do this really fast. But let's say you have like an init on Serum, which is just like the initial preset, right? And it sounds like this. You can do something like this where you put the reverb up really high, the decay, you keep the dry wet down, and at the end of the phrase, you throw that reverb up. So it's like, so it doesn't catch the whole thing and feel really muddy. But obviously, this is a very crappy melody. But if you have a really sweet, like arpeggiator going on, at that end of that phrase, you can just automate or like legitimately like record the automation in of that reverb sweep. And it kind of just makes everything sound really glittery and like nice. I see one more. Are you thinking specifically where the chorus versus bridges are by the end of the beat, or just what feels right? Like if you ended up with not enough room for the usual three choruses, is that something? Sorry, I'm just trying to wrap my head around exactly what you mean by that. Are you thinking specifically where the choruses are by the end of the beat? Are you talking about the vocal? Sorry, I'm like having a brain fart. Yeah, let me know. Sorry, I'm having trouble making sure I know.
Yeah, yeah. We'll give Wazzy 5 more seconds here. Come on. I could out ask you a question. You should probably answer. Nah, it's cool. It's cool. We don't want to put anyone on blast here. So yeah, we're about 5 minutes here. So I think we can move on, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So I hope everyone really enjoyed what OddKidOut did here. I was definitely learning some things. I may have to become an Ableton user. I may have to get a push, and I think it'll probably be really fun. So I want to go back to the fun stuff here, even though that was plenty of fun. But I want to talk about the prizes again, just to remind everyone why we're doing this. So we have three areas where you could win. First place, VX5 AutoTune headrush pedal. You get a collab post, highlight within Discord, a year of our AutoTune Unlimited subscription, and $100 merch store credit. This is why you want to make something amazing with this beat. First place here is great. Second place is still pretty awesome. You get a year of our AutoTune Unlimited subscription, $100 merch store credit, and then third place gets 6 months of our AutoTune Unlimited subscription and a $50 merch store credit. So these are all great things, all great reasons to start playing with the beats that Butch is going to provide here. I'm going to go over the rules real quick, just so, hey, put the stamp on it. Everyone understands. So the submission window, we got a 2-week community submission window here from August 20th. Voting will be from the 21st, starting tomorrow, to September 2nd. Everyone must at least use at least one AutoTune tool, or I should say plugin product in their submission. But we definitely encourage you to use more. If you don't have any of our products, don't worry. You can go right to our website, autotune.com, download a 14-day free trial on our website, and you get all of our tools there to make some really cool music with these beats. And then on September 3rd, we're going to have another live stream here with OddKidOut, and we are going to announce all of these winners. So really exciting. Very excited to have you here, OddKidOut. Thank you so much. That was super fun. We're making history here. It's our first ever AutoTune Discord, our first ever AutoTune Discord live event. Hopefully, we didn't bore people too much. I was not. This was super cool. Any last words?
I'm just stoked to be a part of it. So thank you guys for having me. And I'm really, really, really excited to hear all of these submissions. I'm like super stoked. So I guess we got 2 weeks. And then I told the team I don't want to listen to any of them until it's time to judge them.
Oh
So
boy.
I'm not going into this with like any preconceived notions. I'll have no time to think about it. It'll just be right on the spot. So it should be good.
Yeah, don't get nervous. Don't be nervous. Not you. Kid, I won't be nervous. None of the submitters, if that's the word, will be nervous. I won't be nervous. We're pumped about this. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us here for our first ever Discord live event. Start submitting, start creating. This is what we're here to do. So everyone, have a great afternoon, a great evening. Peace out.